Out of the barracks and onto patrol, part of Jordan's recently formed Desert Brigade. They're tasked by the king to secure this lonely border with Iraq, to keep out smugglers and the jihadists who've just vowed to take over all of Iraq's neighbouring Anbar province. Jordan's desert border with Iraq here is the closest that the forces of Islamic State have come so far to getting into this stable pro-Western kingdom. But long term, Jordan is definitely in their sights. That's why in the last year, the Jordanian police and army patrols have been redoubled, not just here on the Iraqi border, but further to the north on the Syrian border, where Jordan faces 3 different armed groups.
We have a good plan, a good strategy to face all the terror and to face all the challenge and all the threats.
But not quite good enough, it seems. This was a recent attack by suspected jihadists on a government vehicle in the southern town of Ma'an. Since our visit, the king has replaced all 3 top men in internal security, including the general. From the Iraqi border, we travelled west to see how Jordan is coping with extremists inside the country. Many of them are in jail, but some have been persuaded to renounce violence. We asked to be allowed in to meet one.
Colonel.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The police commander at Al Ruma main prison told me that out of the 500 or so inmates, 24 are going through a de-radicalization program. He took me to meet a prisoner who asked to be called Abdullah, not his real name. He gave up his university studies to go and join Islamic State in Syria last year, but then soon changed his mind, escaped to Turkey, and was persuaded to come home. Arrested on his return, his mandatory tough sentence is clearly aimed at deterring others.
I thought that if I went home, the authorities would be lenient. I only spent 2 weeks with ISIS. I was just a young guy who had been brainwashed. But instead, they gave me 5 years in prison for joining an armed group, which is too much for me.
In this police call centre, Jordan is enlisting the public's help to report extremists as well as ordinary criminals. But to reach younger citizens, the police have devised their own mobile phone app for people to tap in suspicious sightings.
So this application, after being downloaded into the smartphones, can be easily used to report any single information by text or by recording or by voice message.
Jordan's capital, Amman, does not look or feel like a city in a country at war. Yet technically it is, with Islamic State over in Syria. Jordanian warplanes still carry out airstrikes. The jihadists use the internet to promise revenge. So how safe do Jordan's public feel? I went to this cafe in Amman to ask a random group for a snapshot of their opinions.
We know that there is problems around us, but inside Jordan itself we don't have any problem. It's very secure.
But what I asked about Jordan's extremist sympathizers.
Supporters should be out like ISIS is out.
But this tranquil scene is deceptive. In this violent region, Jordan faces enemies inside and out. Even its Western allies fear it could be the jihadists' next big target. Frank Gardner, BBC News, Jordan.